So yeah, at Marley Spoon, we have used direct mail mostly for our reactivation campaigns. So within the CRM team, when we try to reactivate. And what we've done then is that we've included direct mail in our one-off campaigns. So like monthly campaigns that we do. These are not life cycles, so it doesn't trigger daily, but it's really like a one-off send. So this is what we've tried it with so far for reactivating customers. So we had around more or less 20% actually of our total conversions in Q1 that came from direct mail, which I was also quite surprised to see that it was so much. Like I think it's quite a big part considering we haven't done it so much, but that it's already a fifth actually of all our activations. So that's pretty cool. And I also did check that with kind of the not so much testing, but still the testing we've done so far this quarter, for each direct mail that we've seen or sent, we've seen a higher conversion rate and a slightly lower CPR, so cost per reactivation. So I think that's also exciting actually to see how we have improved throughout the quarter, even though direct mail hasn't been the channel that we spent most of our focus on. So I think that's really exciting, and makes me excited for Q2 and the rest of the year and see what we can do to leverage it even more. We do see, I would say in general, a higher conversion rate with our direct mails. However, as I mentioned before, for our direct mails, we literally target also our best customers. So naturally, the conversion rate would be higher. In our emails, we combine them more. But in general, of course, then we do see a higher conversion rate. And we've also done some tests where we have a holdout group. So for example, version A of the customers would get an email and nothing else. And the second version would get an email and then a direct mail. And there we have also seen like how the direct mail impacts the overall conversion rate there. We reach more customers than we would with emails too, because of course all of our emails don't get opened. There's still a high percent of the emails that never gets opened. So I think this is also one of the really high values with direct mail, that we also can reach those types of customers that necessarily is not interested in our emails. So we basically have two types of data. So we have user attributes and real-time events that comes from our backend. And all of this goes into Iterable, which is kind of our omni-channel orchestration platform, which we then use to kind of trigger campaigns, segment campaigns, and personalize our campaigns as well. Basically, what we would do is that we would set up our workflow within Iterable and trigger on a specific event or trigger our list. And then we use webhooks within Iterable that then triggers our send to lob. So that's how we set it up. We segment on quite a few different things in general. We have kind of like an RFM segmentation, which we use for actually all our campaigns. So the RFM model is basically recency, frequency, and monetary. Those are the kind of three topics that goes in there. And we also segment, of course, on like when did you churn and some other points in general, let's say, for all of our campaigns. For direct mail specifically, we've so far, when we've tested it, only sent it to our high value customers. Since it's like we've also used Q1 as a little bit of like an experimentation phase, I would say. So we would rather go than a bit safer than riskier. So that's why we've also focused on our high value customers for these campaigns specifically. We have done it though in our latest test, the campaign that we sent out in March. We used, very simple, we added the first name to the direct mail and tested more of, let's say, a personally written postcard versus a more general. So something like, hey Kim, we've missed you, here's our sale, versus just, here's a sale, to make it easy. So that's the only time we've so far tested it. And this, we already saw impacted the conversion rate quite a bit. So that's super exciting. So it's something we want to continue now going into Q2 to see like how do you actually write our direct mails? What's the design? What's the language? Rather than just sending maybe, literally generic sales, we want to try to also like make it more personalized. we have, of course, many different life cycles, but like, for example, the first life cycle that a customer enters after they have canceled the membership with us, which I guess you could say is the most important one. I think this is where we will start testing it. So exactly where in the life cycle and in combination with which email and so on, I don't really yet have the plan of. It's something that we will start working on, so it's not yet there, but we are combining it, so the lifecycle contains then of emails, SMS, direct mail. We also want to start adding more push, so we will see a little bit and test on what the best kind of combination is and when to trigger what and how to follow up. So rather than maybe just like which type of a dynamic content we use, rather also just how we view direct mail then as a channel and what type of language goes into it. We do have some other types of data, like how long the customers have been with us, how many boxes they have ordered, how many recipes they have tried. So we have quite a few things to play around with, which we will. But I think also what's exciting for Q2 is that we also want to try direct mails as part of our triggered life cycles a bit more. So also going away a bit more from these monthly sends to also integrating them into our current automated campaigns. I think that's actually what's more exciting even for us maybe going forward. Some ideas is, for example, to test the other formats also of postcards. So potentially a bigger one versus a smaller one. As I mentioned, I think one bigger part of the testing would also be to use direct mails in our life cycles rather than just the one-off sends. We would also like to experiment with even more personalization that we also just briefly spoke about. And in general, we also always test our vouchers and our offers. And this is not only for direct mail, but for all. So this is also something naturally that we will also spend time on testing for our direct mails. For us, since we only have Lob in the US, I can compare that quite easily to the tests we've done in Australia and Europe, where we have two other vendors that we are using. And I think Lob is definitely increasing our productivity and of course therefore saves you money, right? So I think this is a huge thing. So that is definitely a huge improvement in productivity. And also there, actually a shout out to both Sarah and Sam. I think also the kind of customer support and the help we've gotten is also great and always respond super fast and friendly. So this is of course also a huge help to get our campaigns out. So yeah, that's a big thing as well. We definitely want to try to leverage it even more. As I said, in automated life cycles, also more in our one-off campaigns, potentially also for other stages in the CRM team. So I personally only work with reactivation, but I think that's also like the next step to see how we can leverage this also for other stages. Yes, I would like to see it as like an always on part, as part of our as part of our automated campaigns, and of course also in the one-off monthly campaigns we send.